सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। I welcome you all with my love and respects. I welcome all the devotees and disciples who are sitting with us at this moment around the world. Before entering into the satsang, I wanted to remind all of you to sit in Padmasana or Vajrasana and have your hands in Samana Mudra. Let us create the intense yen effect on the cosmos, an experience on the individuals. Let the individuals experience an experience. Let the cosmos go through an effect. "46 cities are sitting with us two-way, I am able to see, and more than 838 places in 307 cities in 45 countries. People are sitting with us. I am able to see Los Angeles, San Jose, Seattle, Columbus, Phoenix, Houston, Queens, New York separately. One center in Queens, New York, and another one center in New York. New Jersey, Philadelphia, Oklahoma City, North Carolina, Miami, Honolulu, Western Florida, Pullman, Washington, Madison, Texas, Maryland, Atlanta, Toronto, Vancouver, Mexico, Brazil, Guadeloupe, Australia, New Zealand, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Salem, Kuala Lumpur, Georgetown, Kulim, Dubai, Singapore, in Europe, Slovakia, Poprad and Kosais, in England, London, Birmingham, Aylesbury, and Spain, Croatia, France, Germany, Turkey, Africa, Morocco. I am able to see all these countries in front of me. I welcome all of you for this greatest, intense spiritual effect we are going to create on individual and on the cosmos. Today I'll share only one story from Shiva Purana. Story of Dakshinamurti. Shiva appearing as the ultimate master on the planet Earth. Long, long ago, once upon a time, when humanity was soaked in ignorance, as it is still now, there were a group of people who were very successful in whatever they want to do through different powers. They had almost all powers. Anything they want, they can make it happen. These group of great intellectuals lived in a place called Tarukavana. It is the area between the Madurai and Chennai. The place Tarukavana, huge forest, filled with so many intellectuals. They are called Tarukavana Rishis. Amazing intellectuals, and know the techniques and technology to do whatever they want to do in the outer world. Powerful beings. They had a lot of mental powers. They can create anything they want just through the power of mind, and just by doing some rituals, certain rituals, yajnas, karmas. One of the biggest problem happens when you get these extraordinary powers, when things go smoothly in your life, you start thinking you are everything, or there is nothing higher than you. These Tarukavana Rishis, some of the great intellectuals, because they felt they can do anything they want through the power of yajnas, yahas. They started experiencing or feeling the subtlest problem of life pseudo-ego asserting itself as ultimate. Pseudo-ego asserting itself as ultimate is what we call atheism. Pseudo-ego, when it asserts itself as the ultimate, it is atheism. So these intellectuals who lived from Chennai to Madurai, because they can achieve anything they want, they can do anything they want in the outer world, they thought there is nothing superior or higher than them. They became atheists. The foolishness of the intellect or arrogance of this atheism has gone to the extreme, and they started becoming arrogant and a threat to the society. Usually, when atheism settles in you, when you are not ready to respect anything higher than you, your intellect, you are a threat to society. Mahadeva, Sadashiva has to do his job of protecting humanity. He has to teach a lesson to these intellectuals and protect the humanity from them and protect them also from themselves. He needs to save them also from themselves and the humanity from them. He needs to teach lesson to them and transform them, make them understand, and he needs to save the humanity from them. When an atheistic intellect settles on you, it is not only threat for others, it is threat for you also. So, silently, Shiva lands in the Tarukavana as a handsome young man. And the extraordinary glow and the energy which is beyond skin, the extraordinary radiance, tejas, beyond the skin color, extraordinary attraction beyond the size of the body, he manifested as this young man filled the whole Tarugavana. And he went round the Tarugavana in the name of begging to collect food. His Parivrajaka Yatra. All the wives of the rishis saw this extraordinary charismatic energy expression. Fortunately, they were not bitten by the snake intellect. They were not caught in the arrogance They were not caught in the pseudo-ego of their husbands. One important thing you need to know, if your husband is caught in pseudo-ego, just to oppose him, you will be saved from it. You know he is caught, so that awareness will save you from it. See, anything he does is wrong is a basic law with which women live. Same way men, anything she does is wrong is the basic law with which he or she lives. Sometimes this basic law helps if he is really doing something wrong. So with these Tarugavana intellectuals, rishis, they were really doing something wrong. So the understanding the women carried helped them, saved them from that pseudo-ego. They saw this young man, ascetic, a sadhu, walking in the streets, asking for alms. Not only they gave food, they just lost themselves in his presence and glory. All of them have started spending time around him, started listening to his teachings. Imbibing those ideas. Just within a few days, problems started in the house. When these guys imbibe these teachings and ideas and come back to the house, they naturally bring the photograph and mala. When they started living these ideas in the house, the ego of these intellectuals was really hurt. What? We are leaders of the society. Everybody respects us. They don't understand. Everybody fears them, not respect them. These intellectuals, when they see people fearing them, they think they are being respected. No. There's a difference. They think, what? We are being respected in the society, but these women are going behind some young man and following those teachings, his teachings and his practices. What is going on? The problem started in the house. So it is too much. Within 2 days, there was a meeting of all the intellectuals, big discussion, how to stop this young sadhu going around and begging and giving lessons and teachings and taking classes. Something immediately need to be done, otherwise we will not have anybody in our house. We will be left all by ourselves. Everybody has started following them. Atheism is deeply insecure because it is built on insecurity. The very root of atheism grows on insecurity. So the insecure feeling has started. Now they all gathered, plan for conspiracy. How to stop this young man, young sadhu, teaching. There were so many ideas, but nothing worked out because he is fearless. Nothing can be taken away from him. How to stop him teaching? They discussed. Finally got disgusted because they could not come up with any creative idea. When the insecurity and disgusted mood gathers, there comes the great poison of violence. If you are insecure but have some hope, immediately violence won't start. But when the feeling of disgusted and insecurity, when both gathers, the violence starts. They created a violent plan. We need to destroy him, finish him off. So they gathered. Started spreading waves. Those days, yajna. Those days, yajna means what? Creating certain kind of waves and sending all over the world. They organized a huge yajna and started chanting different mantras, started creating negativity and sending it towards him. The young boy, after going around and taking classes, was just relaxing in samadhi under a banyan tree. First, those intellectuals created a damaru, which was creating an intense sound. Just through sound, it was destroying anything which comes in its presence. Those intellectuals commanded the damaru, go and kill that man and come, kill that sadhu. Damaru came with all its speed. The young sadhu was sitting under the banyan tree. The light smile, opened his eyes and saw what is coming. The damaru with all the vigor and power was trying to come near to destroy. All this young sadhu did, he just caught it and kept in his hand to play whenever he wants. These atheist intellectuals got completely shaken. God, what is this? Such a big weapon we sent. Nothing has happened. Everything is going properly. He is there. Then they thought we should do something more. They created a deer and said, go and destroy this young sadhu. The deer came. Again, Mahadeva just smiled at the deer and caught the deer in the left hand, said, You just be with me to play whenever I want. Still he is having it in his left hand. He's playing with it. Then they created another huge weapon. It's called Maru. They sent that weapon. All right, at least you go and destroy him and come back. Neither Damaru nor Deer did the job. You go. When that came again, he did not even move. Just picked up that Maru and kept it in his right hand. Be with me. You may be useful whenever I want. It's too much. Then they created a tiger out of that fire and sent. Mahadeva not only killed the tiger, took out that skin, started wearing it as dress. So he started wearing it as dress. Then they created an elephant. Again, different energies. Finally created a Asura, dark, cunning, cruel, dumb. Muyalaka. They said, you go and do some conspiracy, create some problem, destroy this young sadhu. Shiva did not even bother. He just picked him up and put him at the feet. He was dead. But these asuras are dangerous. Even if they are dead, you have to always keep 1 foot on them so that they don't come back. He puts his feet. Realizing their utter failure, they tried to do all possible things. Sending different weapons in a different way and different negative energies. But nothing could hurt Mahadeva. Nothing could hurt that young sadhu. Everything goes and just surrenders itself at his feet. They were shocked, surprised, unable to understand what is going on, confused, completely disturbed. Mahadeva feels the deep compassion, it is time to teach lesson to these fellows, to complete the avataric mission. What for he assumed the human body. He feels it is time to teach lesson. All he does is sits in his intense silence. Just by his intense silence and presence, those rishis forgot all the extraordinary techniques and powers they had, the technology to create new weapons and new negative energies. They completely forgot the whole thing. The moment they started forgetting, they are shaken. They thought, oh God, what is going on? So they decided, before we lose everything, let us do our final try. The very fire, Agni, in which they do the homa and create anything they want, that very fire they commanded, come on, it is time, you go and destroy him, or we will be destroyed. The fire comes in full speed. That's the last weapon they had. Shiva did not even move his body, just opened his eyes, picked up that fire in the left hand, still he is holding in the left hand. You can see as Dakshinamurti, he will be holding it in the left hand. That is the fire. Now, these rishis lost practically everything, nothing is left. It is too much, too strong lesson for them. But even though they were thinking about this young sadhu to destroy him, but continuous thinking about him has brought some good things to them. Those rishis are fortunate. Maybe the layer of negativity they carried was very less. Just because they were constantly thinking about him, they finally decided, if there is somebody who can stand all the negative things we can do and still be calm, composed and continue what he wants to do, then he must be extraordinary power. They had little intelligence also along with their intellect. Fortunately, they went and surrendered at the feet of Mahadeva. Because they surrendered, Shiva gave knowledge to them also. Not only he saved humanity from these atheistic intellectuals, because they also surrendered, he saved them also from themselves. By his presence, intense silence, he liberated them, enlightened them, made them to understand just the karma or the extraordinary powers are not ultimate. There is something more than that. Just because you can do anything you want, don't think you are ultimate. There is something more than you. He gave them the real sense, the truth, took them beyond that atheistic intellect or pseudo ego. Understand this story. When Guru assumes the human body, when he comes down to the human frequency to save humanity from atheistic intellectuals and save themselves from themselves, save them also from themselves. The extraordinary silence he radiates itself is power. In this whole story, Shiva did not fight even once. He never fought back. He was in silence. All he did is, whatever weapons were sent towards him, he used them nicely for himself, that's all. Kept the fire as a heater, had the damaru for playing, had the tiger skin as a dress, had the elephant skin as the blanket. Whatever negative energy was sent towards him, he beautifully used. For his life. He knows how to use any negativity, turn it into positive and use it for his life. Because of his extraordinary energy and silence and the spiritual presence, any negativity comes, just dies down and starts supporting him in positive way. After all that, after all this attack, still he is sitting silently in the banyan tree, radiating his presence. The inner space continues to radiate the extraordinary silence. An intense presence goes on inspiring everybody to transform themselves. First, he destroys all the negativity thrown towards him and turns them into positive energy. Then he transforms the very people who are trying to throw negativity towards him. Remember, in each one of you, there is an inner space which is Dakshinamurti. Shiva happening in human body. Atma Guru, who goes on transforming any negativity thrown at you as positive. Any incident happening, life throws at you, understand, bring it to that space. It will turn that into positive. If life is throwing fire at you, bring it to that Dakshinamurti. He will turn that into positive. Anything brought to him turns positive. I'll initiate you all into the process of keeping the Dakshinamurti alive in you, keeping the Guru alive in you. In every one of you, Shiva has taken human body, is there inside you as Dakshinamurti, sitting in the eternal silence under the banyan tree of Anandagandha. Radiating the intense silence and energy. Whenever life throws things at you, any negativity is thrown at you, all you need to do is relax into his space, bring that negativity to his space. You will see it disappears. It just disappears. The whole thing will be turned from negativity to positivity. All the problems thrown at you will become glory for you. The way you handle them, it will all become glory for you. Understand, all the negative energy can be just turned into positive energy, and you will continue to sit and radiate the intense silence and the energy under the banyan tree.